Alright guys, let's do a shave with the 2000 from Semogue, a Boar brush. Nice long loft compared to some of their other brushes, and a lot of density. It's a thicker knot as well, so it's one of my favorites from them. The razor is going to be the Game Changer 84 gap on top of their radio knob handle. And inside of it, we're going to put the Tungsten 74 from Personna. It's a vintage blade. Got about 10 uses on it. And here's something I just discovered. A week ago, maybe, I discovered that the Mamba doesn't really have very good blade support from on the bottom side of the blade. It doesn't get near the edge at all. It's 6-7 millimeters away. I discovered that because on my third pass, as I was working on my neck, I was hearing the audio and it just wasn't feeling as smooth and kind of predictable and consistent as like a carve razor might, or another kind that holds it really well. Well, then I was also looking at this Game Changer, and you can see right here, this is the top cap that's underneath my nail, and so you can see it's not being supported right to the edge. If you look at the outside here, it looks like it's being supported right up to the same point as the top cap, but that's just not the case. It stops the support, and we can look at the base plate, and so it's better than the Mamba because this base plate, this flat area, is wider, and so it does come closer to the edge than the Mamba does, but it doesn't come super close. However, it does a great job shaving. I'm going to enjoy using it today. Let's go ahead and put in the blade, and then this is a marathon blade that I'm going to eventually just see how many uses I can put on it. Slow going though. This razor does cover the blade tabs, and so if that bothers you when you're shaving close to your nose or ears, then it might be a good thing for you. Most people, I don't think, care one way or the other. And today's soap is a new one for me, Calypso's Curse from Black Ship Grooming. I don't know, I've been on a Black Ship kind of tear lately, grabbing some samples from them, and some of the lathers that I've made haven't been awesome. They've been serviceable, but then I had one 7 doubloons that was just really good, and so I'm curious as to which Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde I'm going to get with Calypso's Curse. I forgot to bring my pad that told me some of the notes, but you can look in the description. Definitely some aquatic notes, rain, ozone, as well as some other notes that I'm just not really picking up. Anyway, let's shave with it and see what happens. Maybe this will be more of a blind smell test. And I'm bringing back my Quintero lather bowl because the white one I had from the Dollar Tree, the beaded melamine one I've used for the last several shaves, makes it a little harder for you guys to see the lather, I think. And I definitely got somebody commented online to that same effect. So let's go back to the gray. Be interesting to see what I notice about this one when I come back to it after having been away from it for about a week. Just took a shower, so my beard's kind of hydrated. 24-hour growth is what we're working with today. The Boar brush was able to soak while I was in the shower, so it's had a little bit longer than average soak. Okay, so we're going to load. Let's just load for 50 seconds because, why not? Soap's cheap when you really boil down to it, and this might help me to find the right lather ratio and stuff for this. Shaking out most of the water. There's a brand new tub of soap here. It is just a nice, fresh, clean type scent. A little bit of oud, I remember, was in the list. Maybe some more will come to me as we go. The 0 mark. There we go. So while the soap base for Black Ship may not be, may not really come close to the top guys, some of his scents are really neat. Definitely have some light foaminess. Now that's 30 seconds. Let's just, why don't we go for 50 just for grins. That's 40. If we have tons of soap, that'll be all right. And there's 50. So that's what our concentrate looks like on our brush. This light stuff that's hanging around here, let's just flush it down. If you want to load for a little less time and then use the stuff on the side, give that a shot. See what you think. All right. Loading so much soap probably means I'm going to have quite a bit of water to add. We just go ahead and shoot in about 1.5 teaspoons. I like the Game Changer. I wouldn't mind if I was stuck on a desert island with it. It's a good shaver for me. 84 gap. 64 gap was too mild. I did find 1 or 2 blades that worked well with it, but most of them just didn't. And since I have just a good many enjoyable razors that I can use about any blade with, it was just so mild and left hairs uncut. Just wasn't really fun to shave with. So I sold that base plate, bought the 84. And I think it's pretty cool that they made the 68. The Feather ASD2 kind of reminds me of that same problem where I can use a feather blade in the ASD2 and get wonderful shaves and magical shaves, really. Terrific, terrific shaves. But other blades don't do nearly as well. And the Game Changer 68, kind of that way probably. It was just so mild. But I'm glad they make it, because you know what? There are other guys out there with faces that need milder razors. And I think the Feather ASD2 and the Game Changer 68 might be exactly what those guys need. Yeah, that's a nice scent. Very aquatic, clean, crisp. I like it. How does the lather look? As you can kind of see through it, it's a little on the airy side right now. So we've got 3.5 teaspoons into it. Let's just kind of get a consistent mix here and then feel it with with my fingers and just see what happens. I think maybe I should probably run this guy a little drier than usual. And so we might be there right now. He's definitely not wet and super elastic. He drops off, keeps his shape really well. So he is not as good of a base as Sterling or some of the other really nice bases out there. But he's going to be serviceable and slick, have a good scent. Now, you don't always have to use the top bases, in my opinion. The listing on this one just kind of intrigued me, and so I just went ahead and ordered it. Yeah. Usually you won't see my lathers this rigid, but let's just try it because I can always add more water during the shave. It's more easy to add more water than more soap. All right. Tell you what, you know what? With these Boar brushes, you know, one way they're better than those really dense badgers. They don't get, because of the lack of density, they don't get bogged down in that first pass where all those dense tips are trying to compete with your own stubble. Get a feel for this lather here. A little bit of viscosity, just a little bit of resistance. Move my fingers over, my thumb pad over my fingers. Nice slickness here. And it does stay behind as the lather may wipe away from my finger pads, but the slickness remains. Yeah, I like the feel of this. Probably stand to put a little bit more water in it. Yeah, it takes a second to wash it off my fingers. Let's add a little bit of water to the brush. Increase the hydration level of my existing face. Lots of lather, as you can see. Put a couple of O-rings on this brush because it was splaying out so big. A little too big for me since I have a goatee. Oh, this scent is nice. Before we close down this video, I'll run and get my scent notes. This is a little thicker than I usually run about any soap. But let's just see how it works. So we'll give it an extra few minutes to kind of bond with my skin and be able to protect it. As you can see, we added more water, and so we generated, because the soap needed it. The lather needed that water. Had a little bit too much soap in it. So all this was generated just now by that water I was adding. So I'm going to take another teaspoon. So we've got 4 teaspoons in it. Going to add another teaspoon into the mix. We'll mix that up between passes here. All right, Tungsten 74. Let's see how you do in a game changer. Little bit of blade feel, but very comfortable. Game Changer, the Game Changer is a notable razor because it does bring a full stainless steel razor to the market. That's about, you know, 60 bucks or something like that. And I think that's why they called it the Game Changer. So it's nice that they did provide the public, Razorock did, with a good quality razor that's going to last a lot of years at a reasonable price, at a pretty low price. It's really nice. The fit and finish is I'm very happy with it. Can't really find any flaws. Nice. All right, lather definitely looks a little better now. I've got 5 teaspoons into the lather now. And it's a little nicer. See, look at that longer. It's got some more elasticity now that we've got more water. So that's the first pass down. And this is an incredibly soft brush. And that's just with 22 uses on it or so. The first 18 or 20 uses I did soak it for maybe an hour or so before each use to kind of help it to speed up a little bit. This is a really nice brush. Now I'm just letting it soak while I get my gear together. 7 minutes, you know, whatever. If I end up taking a shower, it'll soak for more. Quick, smooth, quick shaves here. Nice glide from the soap. Going cross grain, of course. Now, cross grain does not always mean moving across like this, because the word is cross grain, and so there are people who have the grain of their cheeks goes like directly back or directly forward. And so cross grain for them would be from top to bottom or bottom to top. And so grain, just, it's a relative term. You know, from the north to the south is not always with the grain. Many times it is. Seems to be kind of typical for a lot of people, but it's not always. Feel that lather here on my face. Yep, nice and slick. Feels really good on my skin. Yep, that's a good performing lather. All right, a little bit of rinse. And pass number 3. Plenty of lather. 50-second load was not needed, but that's okay. Like I said, sometimes it's fun to lather more if your lathers are a little bit weak, though they may be wet and slick. Sometimes if you load just a little bit more and just have more soap to work with, then they can be more creamy and still be slick. Sometimes. Yeah, I like this scent. Not really picking up on the oud though, but definitely the rain, the ozone. This blade's working well with this razor. And for the third pass, I just do cross grain again on my face. Always gives me a nice close shave. I don't need to chase the BBS, the baby butt smooth shave, all the time. Some people do, and that's okay. especially since I can't go against the grain. It just gives me irritation and cuts, you know. I think it lifts up some of my neck hairs and brings the skin up into the blade. I think it's kind of what it does. I must have some skin hairs that are just laying really flat against the skin. That's 3 passes. Looks nice too. Rinse. So I went and I got the list, and let's see if I can pick up the rest of the notes. I did get the green herbals. Oud, green herbals. I did pick up those. Now it says birchwood. That's not jumping out at me in a strong way. Amber, maybe just a hint. And I'm not sad about that. And amber's not one of my favorite scents. But yeah, that's probably a good thing to bring into this. A little bit of warmth into this, the rain and the ozone. But yeah, the rain and ozone are the biggest notes to me. I don't know that I pick up the oud. So oud and birchwood are a little on the weak side for me. I can detect a little bit of amber. And the green herbals would be next, and then primarily the kind of the rain and the ozone. Really enjoyed the scent. It's a keeper. And yeah, this soap base may not be great if you're a person who really takes their, really gets their soaps wet and wet. And extra slick. This one may kind of start to break down. It'll probably still be serviceable, but I don't think it's going to hold its creaminess in that regard. But I love this, a lot of the scents that he offers. And I've got a couple of Thomas 2 I have on hand as a sample to test out, and then Queen Anne's Revenge. So that's those will be coming within the next couple of weeks. I am doing my work with the Prix de Provence 63, the vegan soap. I've already got maybe 6 shaves in since I weighed the pup. I'm very curious as to how many shaves, how many ounces of use I'll have per shave once I'm able to get a good test sample in. So that's, you'll see more Prix de Provence. Maybe I'll alternate it, you know, back and forth. All right, so 5 teaspoons of water, 50 seconds of loading. It's kind of an easy ratio to calculate. And this was probably on the dry side of perfect. And that may be where this lather likes to be. Still wet and slick. It gave me great protection. Nice slickness on the face. Nice residual slickness as well. And I like the scent. So I think that's a good, and plus it's a small business, and the guy gave a military discount, I believe. So that's kind of cool. Can't remember though for sure. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm happy with this one. That's a good scent. Calypso's Curse. And I like his artwork. Kind of cartoony a little bit. Some of his, I mean, this one's kind of, we got a babe on there with some boobs, but a lot of them are pirate faces and things like that, ships, and I like a lot of the artwork that he does. It's just kind of neat. All right. Hey, what do I have as far as aquatic post shaves? I don't have anything. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to do a post shave. I want to kind of let this little aquatic float around on me for a little bit. And though some people don't like it, coconut oil is the first ingredient. Shea butter is there as well. Then we start to have stearic acid. And so I think this is going to let you, it's probably going to let me be able to not worry about a post shave because of that coconut oil and stearic acid. So I'm sorry, and shea butter. So I'm just going to skip it. Let the soap be on me for a little bit before I override it with something else. I'm enjoying the scent. All right, guys, finished cleaning up. I'm really glad about the watery type scents, the rain and the ozone. That I'm glad they have a touch of the amber and then the green herbals. I think that keeps them from being too focused in one area, balances it out, adds a little bit of interest. So, and I'm happy with the strength. I got a nice dose of it as I was shaving. So it was enjoyable. 5 or 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, we'll say. And that's at a nice place. I'm glad about that for sure. So there we go. I hope there was something here that has helped you out. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You take care. Good night.